So let's take a look at pound USD. Today is Friday, May the 16th, and we're gonna start with the weekly and work our way all the way down to the 5-minute chart. So any trader out there, if you're a long-term trader, if you're a short-term trader, this will apply to you. So we're gonna take a look at some of the key levels where price could be flipping over, or could take a turn, or could continue to. Just going to see some possible trade opportunities. Now remember, this is just for educational purposes. I'm not saying you should take this trade. Always look at your risk management, your own strategy, see if it fits with you. If you're new and you want to learn different strategies, and this is a great place to start to try out. And if you're going to be testing this stuff, do it on a demo account, or do it with money you're available, or you're okay with losing, I should say. So let's dive into it. So let's start with the weekly. This is the weekly chart here. And I can already see where price is turning. You can see this big move here. That's a big move considering the weekly chart, right? And funny enough, that happens right around this area here, this exact same level area here. And you can see it's sort of a pivot point from this prior swing point here. So this is where I draw a band. Just to give a reference point, to give an idea. Now this is also a big level here, right? Because you could see where these sellers came in and made a big move, as well as these buyers. So I would also put a level here, and we're going to go into a shorter time frame and see what that looks like. Now, of course, that is getting breached. It's not very valid, but it's still worth putting on there just in case. Sometimes you might get a false breakout or a false move, and then the price could jump up. But another one I would draw is right around this base here. This is a key level because this is where the move started, and the buyers came in and price started to move up essentially, right? So let's go down to the 1 day. Oh, not that 1 day. Let's go down to the 1 day by typing in 1D, and I'm using TradingView. TradingView is pretty good. They have a free tool, they have a paid tool. The free one is pretty good. If you're starting out, it's a great tool to start off with. And then later on, if you want to go to the pro version, you can use the link in the description below. That'll get you there. So just pay attention to that. So now if you look on the daily, you can see this price is starting to turn. And the momentum is beginning to shift. In fact, we see a tail here, meaning that we could see a move down. And if that happens, then you want to see a reaction here, right? This is kind of like, I would say, your target or your destination point before maybe these buyers come back and attempt another push. So you can see this momentum going up. These sellers came in, and then the momentum started going sideways a bit, right? You see a bit of a range going on. If we just extend that a little bit, there we go. Yeah, you can see a bit of a range going on, right? See one touch, comes down here, 2 touches, comes down again for a second touch, a bit of a range, and then we see a bit of a pop off, right? But it's essentially back at that level where we saw before on the weekly chart, and now we're seeing price go down, take a turn essentially, right? So let's see what's going on the 4-hour chart. So we can see a better idea. You can see some choppiness. It's not very clear that these sellers are coming in and price starting to go down. It's not that straight, not that clear of a path, and you're seeing a lot of pushes from the buyers, sell from the sellers. So it's not certain that this price is going to continue to go down. It could, and maybe it's just shaking off the weak hands or getting rid of the noise before we see some clear movement on the way down. You can see some support and resistance, or some pivot points, price levels being respected. If we look at this area here, right, around the 1.238 area, right around there, you could see this level being respected, right around here. And then in the past, not many levels, but this recent one has been respected. So we could take a look at a lower time frame to see what's going on. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to do. And if you want to learn about trading, if you want to get into, say, options or anything else, there's actually a really good program. It's a program for new traders, people who are just starting out in the markets and don't want to invest a whole lot of time or money in learning from other courses. In fact, this is a very inexpensive course by Jeremy Russell. He's been trading for quite some time. There's a lot of videos about him. He puts himself out there. So if you want to learn about Jeremy Russell, simply YouTube the guy or just Google search him and you'll find quite a bit. The course costs around $63. As you can see, it's very inexpensive compared to other courses out there. And on top of that, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, the nice thing about this course is that you can learn everything in a day. And in fact, you can learn it all in about 4 hours, get started the next day. And if for some reason, if you don't like it, you can get your money back. And so essentially, it's a very low risk, in fact, maybe even risk-free type of trade. And here's a curriculum, everything you're going to be learning. It's primarily focused on options, but you can apply this to any other style, whether you want to just buy stocks or sell stocks and currencies, whatever it may be. You can apply this. It's a very transferable skill. Here's everything that you're going to be learning in the course. There you can even see testimonials from, say, engineers and business consultants, and you can see a breakdown of it all over here. The cost, again, $63. You can learn all of this in a day and get started with trading the next day with this. So it's a really good program. If you want to learn more about it or check it out for yourself, then check out the link in the description below, where you get everything you need, including starting this course at around $63. So very inexpensive. Get started on that today. You can see here, right? These buyers try to push price up, and then these sellers just slammed it right down, like just pushed really hard. So that's when you can tell, okay, even though it's choppy, we're starting to see those sellers gain momentum, maybe even buyers flipping over and becoming sellers. New sellers coming in, waiting on the sidelines. There's a lot of factors involved with this move, but you can see that this move is pretty strong from the sellers, right? They're not done yet, as we should say. But you can see right on the lower time frame that the price is going down. So the trend is mostly down on the lower time frames. On the longer time frames, it's hard to tell. It's a little bit choppy, but on lower time frames, you can start to see where this direction is going. Is pretty obvious here, right? So let's go down. I think we're already on the 1 hour. Yeah. So let's go down to the 15 minutes. Right? You can get a better idea on what's going on, right? This kind of a bit of a push here. You see an initial push from these buyers or sellers allowing price to move up there, and then they just push it down, right? So we want to see what happens at this base, right? What kind of reaction you get, and that's what you want to look for. You want to look for those reactions. It's almost like waiting for a landmine or something like that, right? A bomb to go off and see if it does go off. What I mean by going off is if price hits down and comes down to this level and then these buyers react and push it up, that's basically the bomb going off, right? But if we see a reaction and it's a small one, it's not as big, it's just a small reaction, then that means, okay, well, the buyers aren't really there, they're flipping over, the bomb didn't go off, I should say, and we could see price going lower, and that's a potential trade opportunity if you look at it from there, right? So just keep that in mind. Now let's go down to the 5 minute, just for the 5 minute, guys, to see what else is going on, right? So you can see this move down, right? It was a strong move from these sellers, but now you can see some choppiness, right? This price is starting to slow down. We're starting to see a bit of sideways movement, possible accumulation of orders, right? So we could possibly see these buyers come back and try again, and maybe would want to see what happens at this level here, right? So that's something to pay attention to. This area is something to pay attention to if you're a short-term time trader, right? So just keep that in mind. And whenever you see some choppiness or some slowdown, some sideways movement, that means something's happening. Something is building up, essentially. And for a lot of traders, that's where you want to pay attention to and look at. In fact, in the course, they talk about that too. They look at, looking at sideways movements, looking at ranges and all those types of things. So if we go back to the 15 minute from here, if you're a short-term time trader, you want to look at key levels. So let's say you're trading the 5 minute. You maybe want to pay attention to this area here, right? See if the buyers do react and push up. Are they going to come up to here and then kind of quit, or these sellers will act at this level here and then push price down? If that's not the case, maybe we'll see a reaction from these sellers at this level here, because that was an intense move, right? That was a big move down. It's almost like a memory spot, like people saying, hey, remember when this happened here? Let's see what happens when price comes up. Let's do it again. Maybe it'll happen again, right? So that's kind of how these kind of price levels work. Essentially, it's almost like just memory. It's basically market psychology. You can see here there's no indicators on this chart. What I really look at is price action, because it's more connected to the market, looking at what these traders are thinking, how are they acting, what are their behaviors. and you know, where are some possible areas to look at rather than just specifically focusing on an indicator. I mean, if indicators work for you, that's awesome, that's great. But personally for me, I've been down the indicator rabbit hole, and I found just at the end of the day, simple price action, it does take some time to learn and get used to, but once you get used to it, it's a skill and a technique you can transfer to different markets. You can use it in currencies, stocks, commodities, indices, all those different markets, and it's a really transferable skill, which is great. You know, indicators only work with certain, say, stocks or certain currencies, and they're kind of like a delayed reaction to what's going on. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that adds some insight. If we go back to the 4 hour, let's go to the 4 hour and see. So that's a level, right? So you can see that level's been respected. Now the next target is this bottom level here to see what's going to happen, if these guys will push even further, and then the next level will be this area here, this bottom level here. So that's the key. You want to look at levels when it comes to putting on a trade, even seeing where price is going. It's one of the keys, actually. And again, if you want to learn more about this, then check out the course in the description below. It's called the 20-minute trader program. It's a very inexpensive course compared to all the thousands of dollars that you may spend with other courses, and you may not learn almost anything, right? So it's a low risk program, and on top of that, you have a 60-day money back guarantee. So if you don't like it for whatever reason, you can always give your money back, or you can get your money back. Give them a reason or whatever it may be. And yeah, so anyways, hope this helps give some insight on what pound USD is doing. If you like this, make sure to share it with anyone that might find some benefit from this, who is new and wants to get into trading. Like and subscribe. You know, if you want more of this, subscribe to the channel. I'll be going more through trading, some techniques, what the markets may look at, possible movements. And remember, always use risk management. That is the most important thing, because even though you see an opportunity and it may look like a sure thing, it's not always going to be a sure thing, and you want to protect yourself and have enough chips on the table to play again another day. That's exactly how the professionals think. They go at trading systematically, and there are times when they go bigger and they put on a larger than usual position size, but there has to be a system to that. There has to be a reason, and a valid reason, not just because I feel like it, but because the market is doing ABC and it looks like I can take a larger risk, right? So just keep that in mind, and hope this helps. Cheers.